Episode 5. Chloe. The emerald silk of my dress felt like batter armor, heavy and cool against my frame as I stepped into the spring ball. I had spent the last hour in a state of anxiety, the image of Tyler's mouth on Chloe's looping in my brain like a faulty film reel. My first instinct, the one honed over 10 years of protective silence, had been to bolt, to hide in the quiet safety of my solitude and pretend the heart I'd finally handed over hadn't been bruised. The week with Chloe had been the most amazing time of my life. Getting to kiss her, to touch her whenever I wanted, knowing she liked me too, was the kind of dream my mind had been nourishing for years. But under the dream lay a fear. What happens when it all comes crashing down? But as I stood in the lobby of the ballroom, the muffled thump of the bass vibrating through the floor, my fear seemed so small in comparison to my love for Chloe. I had seen Tyler leave the apartment 10 minutes after I fled. He hadn't looked like a man who had won. He looked like a man who had been scorched. Chloe's face flashed in my mind, not the perfect mask she wore for the world, but the shattered, desperate expression she'd worn as I ran. I realized then that my flight wasn't about her betrayal. It was about my own cowardice. I was so terrified of the other shoe dropping that the moment I heard a sound, I'd assumed the floor was falling out. Chloe had been everything I wanted in life, and I still couldn't believe that I could have her. If I wanted this, I needed to stop running away, needed to start trusting my best friend. To keep Chloe, I had to be more than her anchor. I had to be courageous. I had to take a risk with my heart, even if the future didn't go the way I wanted. The spring ball was a kaleidoscope of glitter and show, the grand ballroom of the campus center draped in white lilies and fairy lights. Hundreds of seniors moved in a sea of tuxedos and gowns, coming together one final time before graduation. But I didn't see any of them. I only saw her. Chloe was standing near the edge of the dance floor, looking like a classic Hollywood star in a sleek black velvet gown that hugged her svelte curves. She'd bought it at a thrift store a week ago, and I was supposed to help her get into it. Her blonde waves were perfect, but as I got closer, I saw the truth. Her eyes were sunken and rimmed with red, her gaze fixed on the floor as if she were waiting for the world to end. Then she looked up. Our eyes met across the crowded room, and the air seemed to leave the ballroom. Her lips parted in a soft, silent gasp of surprise. I didn't wait for her to come to me. I walked toward her, my heels clicking a steady rhythm on the polished wood, my heart hammering against my ribs. We met at the very center of the floor, a small island in the middle of a swirling ocean of people. "You came," Chloe whispered, her voice fragile, her blue eyes watery from all the crying. "I came," I said, my voice steadier than I felt. "Sloane, I have to explain. Tyler, he lied about his father. What you saw wasn't—" "I know," I interrupted softly. Her blue eyes widened, shimmering with a fresh, unshed tear. "You know?" "I know he's a liar, and I know you'd never cheat on me, Chloe. I know all that. But when I saw you with him, I reacted out of fear." I took a step closer, the scent of her floral perfume finally grounding me. She's taller than me in her heels, but she looks at me like I'm the only person in the world. I gather my courage, confessing everything to her. "I ran because I'm terrified of losing you. I love you so much, Chloe. It hurts. For so long, I've loved you one-sidedly, never dreaming you'd ever love me back." "Sloane," her voice was soft, her hand reaching for me. When her knuckle brushed my exposed arm, I felt electricity crawl up my skin. "I've spent my whole life thinking I was just the girl in the background, the safe option, the friend you came to when you broke up with the boys you really wanted," I continued. "You're so radiant, so full of light. I didn't think I could ever be enough to keep you satisfied. When I saw you with Tyler, I thought he is what you need, not a scared introvert like me who avoids parties." "That is not true, Sloane Peterson." Chloe reached out, her fingers trembling as they laced through mine. Sloane, look at me. I gazed into her eyes, finding love there. You are a million times better than any boy I've dated. I like you the way you are, and it's okay if you hate parties. I'm the real coward here. I didn't even realize how much I wanted you for so many years. I'm sorry you feel you're not good enough for me, because you're beyond everything I ever hoped for. She takes my hand. I don't want the noise anymore. I don't want the guys or the perfect image. I want you, Sloane. I want my best friend to love me back. She stepped closer, looking down into my eyes. I love you, Sloane Peterson, and there's nobody else I want. You are the only person I've ever really loved, and I want to take you to the ball. I want to kiss you in the morning and fall asleep next to you at night. I want to dance with you and tell everyone you're my girlfriend. In 5 years, I won't even remember the faces of all the boys I've dated, but I'll always remember you. You are the one I'll never forget for as long as I live. I was getting teary hearing her spill her heart out. It took me long enough to figure it out, but you're my endgame, Sloane. I don't want to date boys anymore. I don't want to go to noisy parties or pretend to be cool. I want to be with you, wherever we can be together. I was using them to keep from looking at you. I don't want to be the girl everyone looks at anymore. I just want to be the girl you look at. She squeezed my hand, her thumb tracing the pulse in my wrist. I want to make this real. No more fake dating, no more end dates. Just us together. Will you give me another chance? My eyes were burning with unshed tears, my throat dry. Of course. I love you too, Chloe Moore. There's no one else I want to be with. She leaned down, and I looked up as her arms snaked around my waist. Chloe's forehead touched mine as she whispered, "Would it cause a scene if I kissed you right here?" I found the courage that love had given me and said, "Why don't you do it and find out?" And then our lips met. I kissed Chloe in front of everyone, declaring what our parents had always known, that we were meant for each other. She moaned as I held her close, finally in the arms of the girl I'd loved all my life. The fake world we had built, the snacks, the scripts, the launches, dissolved, replaced by the kind of love I dreamed of years ago. It was a public declaration, and I never wanted to go back from it. The music seemed to fade into a hum as I tasted her joy and her relief, sharing my own. Around us, a wave of hoots and cheers erupted from our classmates. I smiled against her lips, swaying to the music and to the taste of love. I pulled back just an inch, looking into her eyes. "Caused quite the sensation," I whispered. "Look at everyone taking pictures. Do you think we'll be celebrities?" She laughed. "I hope not." Chloe beamed, a radiant sun that I no longer feared would burn out. She pulled me back into the dance, and as we moved together, I realized that the architect in me had finally built something that would last forever: love.